With your spells, do you have like people drink like pig's blood or something?
Oh god, no.
Pig's blood, you fool. I only make my potions with real human blood.
Okay. I don't know. I've never met a witch before. I have no idea.
Today, obviously, I'm going to talk about witchcraft.
Some topics are hard to approach.
Something I think.
Either the subjects are inaccessible, or people are uncomfortable discussing them. So we found those subjects in person, rented a space in Los Angeles, and invited our audience and strangers to come and ask them anything.
Hi, my name's Griffin. I am a professional witch.
This guy looks exactly how I expected him to. He looks like that one crazy uncle that everybody has and they're just in their own world.
And I'm here today to answer questions on the topic, anything anybody would like to ask.
Hi Griffin, I'm Aaron.
Hey Aaron.
With 2 A's.
An old biblical name, right?
Kind of a Christian name.
You didn't bring a pitchfork today, did you?
Oh, what?
The witch thing, like I always would perceive it just because, from movies, like female thing.
There's a lot of people think that. There is a higher percentage of women, but not exclusive at all. A lot of the people responsible for the revival of witchcraft have been men.
I hate to break the news to you, but according to Oxford Dictionary, the definition of witch is a woman thought to have magic powers, especially evil ones, popularly depicted as wearing a black cloak and pointed hat and flying on a broomstick. Nowhere in there does it say anything about men.
Is being a witch like your job?
It's what I do for a living. I teach witchcraft and I run a witchcraft store and I center big rituals and do all kinds of things.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Oh. I'm not a nice witch, but I'm a good witch. I don't go out of my way to be nice to people, but I hold my ethics very close to my heart. I would not do magic that would usurp the liberty and freedom of others.
Let's see some of this magic. Like cast a spell on one of these people. Let's see what happens.
How do you feel the way witches are being portrayed through like social media or like in movies?
Well, I think we're being portrayed actually in a fun way. It's not very realistic. I don't fly on brooms, and people really don't understand witchcraft. They see witchcraft from Hollywood, they see witchcraft through the filter of history, but they don't. It's very difficult to understand what we're about from the outside. I've come to accept that I can't really explain it to people, and that's okay.
You have to give some type of explanation. If you can't explain it, then how do I know you aren't just lying?
If you're like Catholic or Muslim or Buddhist, could you practice kind of the witch style even though you're not maybe like a Wiccan? Like how does that work out religious-wise?
You can be a witch and you can be a Christian, you can be a witch and you can be an atheist. But people who practice old-time witchcraft very often have the ability to perceive energy and spirits and manipulate change. So that's helpful for when communicating with nature.
Well, I don't know why he's talking to a tree.
Different kinds of spirits in the land, or doing healing work, being able to work with crystals and stones.
Okay, but isn't he a wizard and not a witch? I have no clue on any of this stuff, but I have seen a few Harry Potter movies, so I don't know if that makes me an expert or not.
How did you fall into being a witch? Like, did you feel like you had a gift or something, or did you just...
My grandmother, her mother before her, had what they call the gifts. She was in her 70s and decided that it was time to cross over, so she drowned herself in a bucket of water. What? What the fuck?
Oh, God.
Which is not an easy thing to do, but she was ready. It was because she was aware of the spirit realm, and she said, I've had a really long life and I'm done, I'm ready to cross over. A year after she crossed, I was born. And my grandmother looked at me and basically said, oh, you've received the gifts.
I guess this guy just has the crazy gene. You know what they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Have you ever casted a spell on yourself before, and would you recommend it?
Yeah, actually, I know it sounds kind of weird. People come in wanting you to cast spells on other people. I want that boyfriend or I want that girlfriend and I want you to make them love me. And it's like... No, I'm not going to do that. If you want to be loved, then you need to start finding a way to love yourself. People see you differently when you see yourself differently. So a lot of spellcrafting is actually done on oneself, strangely enough.
Wow, love yourself.
Love yourself.
It sounds like this guy is just a budget therapist. Like if you aren't going to cast a spell I want you to, then what am I paying you for?
It's gonna be like a dumb question, but like, have you ever like experienced like sort of like a witch fight?
Oh my God, you're going there. All right. Yeah, you know, I'd love to say that witches are all wonderfully enlightened and tolerant and loving, but actually there's a hell of a lot of witch wars go on where, oh, so-and-so said this about you and so-and-so said that. And that's just normal, like, high school drama. But with witches, it gets also into where they start throwing spells and trying to mess with your life. The silly thing is if you do witchcraft against another person, then whatever you do against them opens a door that they can do the same thing back at you, or other people can do that kind of magic on you.
That sounds like when your girlfriend's dad is like, whatever you do to her, I'll do to you. And you're like...
Because once a door is opened in what you endorse in your reality, then that becomes something that is always going to be a power in your world.
Does magic exist in the sense of like what we see in movies or anything, or is there more a spirituality type thing?
You know, both. Maybe 90% of my practice, it is about how to see a bigger universe and to live in a bigger spiritual-based world. But then there's 10% of the practice where magic becomes very real, when you see things happen that physically shouldn't be possible. But it's not something that you are able to conjure up on a daily basis. It's not like Bewitched, where you wiggle your nose and your housework's done, you know, or the dishes take care of themselves.
So only 10% of the time this guy's tripping out on drugs is what he meant to say.
What do you think of Christianity?
I like Christianity in terms of Christ and in terms of the scripture. What I'm not a big fan of is churchianity. Mm-hmm. I don't like the way in which priesthood, in all religions, in all mainstream religions, mediate the scriptures, because it seems to be geared towards fundamentalism, bigotry, closed-mindedness.
Have you faced any like negativity to you being so open about what?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I first started, I wouldn't admit it to anybody. I mean, people would think I was nuts.
If people think you're nuts, there's probably a reason. If you actually showed them some magic, though, then they'd probably believe you.
And in America, even, where there's still a degree of persecution, so we keep kind of quiet about who we are and what we're doing.
What's something about like being a witch that most people don't really know?
They're just like regular people. I know witches who are doctors and surgeons.
I hope my doctor isn't a witch. What the heck? I do not think those two things should mix, because doctors are very scientific and smart, and witches are just crazy people with no actual scientific evidence to back up any of their claims.
Well, thanks guys for watching. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about witchcraft, and continue to seek, if you have interest, seek out your metaphysical stores.
And please remember to comment below what you thought of the episode. Consider liking and subscribing as well, and we will see you next time.
Bye.